Hey everybody, it's Tasha MAMABEAR Prepping. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel where we just talk about emergency preparedness, what you can do in a crisis, different things that might come your way. Really, we just talk about what me and my family do, and hopefully that gives you some ideas to get you going on this journey of self-sufficiency and being prepared. So today what I want to talk about is local meat. You know, my new jam right now is concentrating on switching my family to locally grown meat. No more buying it from the store-bought meat. And a lot of folks have, not a lot of folks, a few people that I've shared that information with closely here, friends and family have asked me, you know, okay, why are the reasons why you're doing that? And the number one reason is really what got the ball rolling, of what made me like, okay, I can't do this, okay? And so number one reason why you should buy local meat is these vaccines. Vaccines that possibly you declined, said you did not want to take, did not comply with, and now they are going to take that stuff and put it into the animals, and then obviously it's going to get delivered to us in that way. You eat meat, you buy that meat from the store, that animal gets vaccinated, mRNA, and you then eat said meat, and then boom, this stuff's in your body, okay? Now, listen. It doesn't matter how you feel about this. This is just one of the reasons. However, for me and my family, it is one of the biggest reasons why we are shifting to local meat. We've always, in our game plan is always to, we are building to be a self-sufficient family. And part of that is to have land and is to have animals and to raise our own meat and our own animals. However, this is something that, you know, the majority does not have land, does not have, you know, the majority of people don't have land, don't have animals like that. But this is a way that you can change the dynamic of your family in a positive way. And so this is something you can do in an apartment, whatever, and start looking at your local farmers, just Google, and they're gonna find them. It doesn't matter if you're in a city, they're outside of the cities, you guys, and you'll just go out there and get some local stuff. This is produce. You can get other stuff too, but today we're talking about meat. Vaccines, unwanted medications, vaccines, other things that you don't want contaminated in your meat. You want the cleanest meat possible. Local farmers is where you need to go and start getting your meat. Second thing I have is building relationships for after a collapse, after SHTF, right? Think about this. You're cultivating relationships with the people that know about animals, know how to raise up animals. I mean, this is a source of information and wealth when you start yourself raising your own animals. You know, you're possibly opening the door to have a relationship after a collapse. A situation happens when they close their doors to everybody else, to the masses, to the public, and possibly you've forged a relationship with a food person, with a farmer, with somebody who deals with food, okay? And that is valuable. That is a valuable skill, okay? Again, even at that point, you've forged that relationship, and maybe you're not getting meat from them, but you have your own meat, and you're able to, you know, get skill sets from them to be able to do stuff yourself, like butchering or whatever it is, okay? Super, super important, okay? So starting those relationships, super important. Third thing I have is it tastes better, high quality, it's fresher. I wrote here, so less chemicals, right? It's going through less processes, so it's less chemicals, less stuff being added to it to preserve it, to allow it to be able to be travel, right? To be delivered to the store, right? That meat oftentimes is not coming from these local farmers, right? The meat from your local Walmart is not always necessarily coming from a local farmer, and 9 out of 10 it's not, okay? Meat is coming from other countries, other counties, other states, across the states. You know, you have no idea where your meat is coming from. That's one. But two, because it has to go through that process, it has to go through that travel and all that stuff, it's not fresh. It's not the freshest. It's not the healthiest. It has to go through all these processes and chemicals added to make it actually stay not fresh, but to stay able to be ate by the time it gets to the store, gets put on the shelf. Then it has to stay there for a few days. Then it has to still kind of make it and be able to come home and stay in our fridge for a few days or go in the freezer, right? And so you are getting a fresher product, a less processed product, a healthier product, higher quality product. Fourth thing I said is to support your community, right? Support your economy, support your community. If you're one for local business, support your small business, support your local businesses, your local town's economy, that stuff. This is doing that. This is one way that you are supporting your community. Again, you're making relationships, you're cultivating relationships within your community, you're supporting your community, and that's super, super important for wherever it is that you live, okay? Next thing I have is it's cleaner, right? Less hands that it's going through. We just talked about the whole point of it gets processed, right? So that meat is going through all these several hands. Somebody's got to butcher it, then it's going through these hands as it's being processed. It's going through different buildings. It's getting put in different trucks for traveling, and airplanes and crates and this and that, different freezers, and it's going through and touching so many things, right? There's so much room for contamination. You talk about viruses, you talk about all these possibilities of different things that are going to hit us that the elites warn us about, right? And yet we have this meat that you buy in your little Walmart, right? And you take home every night, and that piece of meat has been everywhere, all over the place, right? And multiple ways that it could be contaminated somewhere along the line, okay? And so when you talk about recalls, because this is what kind of flared this too, is I seen another thing about recall, like 2,100 pounds recalled of a foreign object in the meat. And it's not like local meat doesn't have to be processed. I mean, yes, it has to be butchered. Somebody's touching that. Somebody is getting that processed and ready to be able to sell it to you, right? Getting it wrapped up. But it's going through much less process. It's going through way less contamination. You know, can a foreign object get into that meat? Yes, of course it can, okay? But the processes are so more hands-on that it's a little bit easier. It's a better chance that you're not going to have to deal with this stuff, you know? Talking about 2,100 pounds. I mean, first of all, I don't even pay attention to recalls anymore. I could care less about a recall. I'm just keeping it 100. The days of me going to my pantry and figuring out what's been recalled. First of all, there's too many. Second of all, half of them are phony, fake. I don't trust them, right? I don't believe it. I just don't care. Okay. The risk is not high enough for me. And trust me, we are a military family who grew up with risk assessment, risk analysis, you know, out the wazoo. Okay. I just don't care anymore. Okay. But I see this recall, and it's just like, I just don't trust the meat that is that's being processed and sent to your local stores anymore. And so we're not doing store-bought anymore. Again, just like the preservative stuff, we still have stuff in the freezers, right? We still have stuff that we're going to work down. Our freezers aren't that big though, as far as me keeping them full, because I preserve everything. Obviously, I preserve meat like crazy. So I have preserved meat that, you know, obviously store-bought. So it's not like I'm throwing everything out and I'm, you know, wasting food. I'm not. We are going to eat whatever we have left. However, from this point forward, we are not buying any meat from the local stores anymore. We're not doing it. The grocery store, which brings my grocery shopping down even more now that I took out the preservatives. I took out all this extra stuff that we were getting. My grocery cart is just was just meat and fresh fruits, vegetables, and my dairy products. That's really what it, you know, computed to. And now, you know, if I take meat out of that, you know, and some people will say, oh, well, that's more expensive. Baby, it's not more expensive when you talk about the big picture. You're buying in bulk, yes. But some places have little stores, so you can go and get a pound of hamburger or whatever. But it's better to buy it in bulk. Take that money, get it in bulk, and then you've bought meat for half a year, whatever it is, right? High quality, beautiful meat, okay? Better for preserving, better for all around, okay? So, and it's better, you know, what is your health worth, right? You would rather take a chance and you would eat something that you have no idea. They've already talked about putting, you know, beetles and bugs and all types of other little bugs and insects in our food, in our meat. They've talked about selling us meat that's not even meat, you know. So this is this is not going in the right direction as far as meat, the safety of meat, the meat being what you actually think you're buying. It's just not, it's getting worse and worse. And so I know some of you that know me and will watch this and be like, this is crazy. She just said stop buying meat from the store. Yeah, stop buying meat from the store. Start buying local. It depends on what you and your quality of life, your quality of health for your family, the quality of having a say in what you're putting inside your body, because with them saying that they're going to put certain vaccines, they're not going to stop with the different things that they want to put. If they want to deliver something to us, food is, I've always said, food is the delivery system that an enemy could use to destroy a country. I mean, really, honestly, you know, we have so many things that are preservatives and easy and you know, the fast food, you know, that everybody's, stuck on. And let me tell you, like, once you mentally do the switch, listen, look at me. I'm a fat girl. I love my snacks, but let me tell you, I haven't craved a chip since I turned my brain on and said, look, we're not going to do this anymore. Any other like little fad diets or whatever, like, girl, I'm eating chips within the day, right? Within the week. And now, once you switch your mind and you actually, I'm not going to comply. I'm not going to comply with this. I'm not going to comply with the other things. I'm not going to comply with digital currency. I'm not going to comply. Then I'm not going to start complying and continue to eat things that I know are set up in a system to make me unhealthy, to make me unwell, to make me not be able to think with my brain and be a productive person in society. Right? Why would I want to turn that part of my system off? Okay, that stuff is unhealthy. It causes cancers. It causes all the things to wake up that are nasty in our body. And it's more than just eating healthy. I'm not talking about that. Do I look like the poster child for health? Right? What I'm saying is that these preservatives that are in these foods are not good, and we have to start saying no. Little baby steps, and that's what we did. We're taking baby steps. We didn't throw everything out. We gradually said, okay, we're not buying no more. Kiddos can eat down these snacks. We're going to start eating down stuff, and as stuff disappeared, that's it. And I figured it out. Figured out, hey, what are quality snacks? What are different things that we can bring back into the house as a snack that doesn't have preservatives? We have to look at the back of it. We have to pay attention to what it is. And now my kids are paying attention to what ingredients are in stuff. They're paying attention to stuff on packaging. I mean, that stuff matters for our health, for our longevity, okay? So I'll get off that rant. I know I just ranted for a little bit, but I think that this is extremely important, and this is just as important as do not comply. I'm not going to comply with you putting this stuff in my meat and me just saying, well, I'm just going to continue to buy it because I love meat. I'm a meat eater. I'm a carnivore, right? As my son would say, we're carnivores. Well, we're going to be carnivores eating the best meat that we could possibly buy. And price wise, obviously I like a deal. We'll try to get the best deal we can. But to me, what is your personal health worth, right? Cleansing your bodies and getting your bodies back to the way that they need to be, right? I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited about your guys' comments. I want to hear what you guys think of this. Keep it civil, but I want to hear, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Do you think it would be hard for you and your family to switch? This is hard. I can't imagine even 10 years ago, and I'm living in an apartment, and I'm in the military, and you said, you need to stop eating store-bought meat. You need to eat local. And in the beautiful moment of things, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds great. Quality meat, whatever. But then the hustle bustle of life, and I could just see it like, okay, well, that sounds great, but this is life. I got to keep it going, and we need to make spaghetti tonight, and I'm gonna get this hamburger from Walmart tonight, right? I know it's not easy, but you have to start doing this stuff. Otherwise, there's two ways you're gonna be. You're gonna be in this compliance lane, even if you're not in the compliance lane already. That's the direction you're going. And actually, whether you want to be or not, I thought that was a string. Whether you want to be or not, or you're gonna be over here where you're awake, you're paying attention, and you're making decisions the best that you can with the information that you have, right? stuff's going to happen, right? That you just don't know. They say that mRNA is already in possibly some pork vaccines. So it's the possibility, which is scary to me, is that this is already out there, that this has already been introduced, especially since stuff like this. Do you think that they're just going to tell us always before they do something? No, they've been doing stuff for years without telling us. So this is, again, one of those things. So take it with a grain of salt. Don't freak out. This is not to fear monger, freak out. Oh, I got all this meat in my freezer and it's got a vat. I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm telling you to wake up, pay attention, make sound decisions that make sense for you and your family, to keep you healthy, to keep you sound, and to keep you in line with the values and the things that you want to do, right? The direction that you're trying to go. And that direction, you guys, might not always be the easiest direction. It might not be the easiest road, okay? But if you're thinking like I think, this is the road you got to make it. You've got to start shifting down this road. It all shifts down the road of self-sufficiency anyway. Do I want to be buying local meat from somebody forever? No. My game is to get there, get to our place, our little piece of heaven, and start producing our own meat, right? And to be that person that, hey, somebody could come to and be like, hey, I'm trying to get some meat. Not obviously for a business, running a business. Also, something to think about too is you're cultivating these relationships, and maybe you stay in there and you're able to get that meat. But remember, what is it that you're, after a collapse, that you're going to be able to offer that farmer, that person that has that beef? What do you have of value after a collapse to be able? Yeah, you made that relationship, and maybe you're in the door, and they've shut the door to the public, and they are willing to have a relationship with you and still give you beef. But what do you have at that point to give to them to get that beef? What do you have of value that person would want? You could even go as far as asking the person, as you develop the relationship now, hey, if things go left and you're still selling some kind of beef, what would be an appropriate way to pay you? What would be an appropriate trade, right? And see what it is that you have, or what it is that maybe they would want, okay? And if not, you have your high value barter items that we know that we've talked about on this channel, that always end up coming through. And maybe it ends up being one of those items. Or maybe that farmer ends up needing something for his family. And he's like, do you have this? And it's just a spur of the moment thing. Like, okay, you want beef. I know you. I'm cool with giving you beef, but I need this. Or, maybe they're coming to you first. Do you need beef? Because I need this. Do you have this item? It's important that we start thinking this way and thinking in this direction. And for those of you that think I'm wonky and wacky, and I'm telling you what, you better get on your knees, pray to God, pray for discernment, pray for your own discernment, that you will understand what is happening and how to maneuver and which directions you should go with you and your family. So with that said, I hope you guys are having a great week. It is sun here. It was sun yesterday, and it's sun all the way through the weekend. We're supposed to get like 70s, you guys, this weekend. So that's crazy. That's awesome. You see, I'm excited. I love the rain here in Pacific Northwest, but I absolutely love the sun too when it comes out. So you guys be well, be kind, do everything in love, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Take care. Bye.